Hey, Nick, I got a question for you.
What's that, Wyatt?
Why does a chicken coop only have two doors?
Why does a chicken coop only have two doors, Wyatt?
Because if it had four doors, it'd be a chicken sedan. We don't have it yet.
I am Nick, and he is Wyatt. I think I have that right. And this is our show. Welcome. We don't have it yet. You want to explain that one to the people the best we can? The best we figured it out?
Yes. I've actually already had a couple questions about this when someone has asked what the name of our podcast is, and I have said we don't have it yet, and they've said, "Oh, okay. Well, let me know when you come up with the name of the podcast." Well, that is the name of our podcast. It's called We Don't Have It Yet. It's a few reasons. A wonderfully famous line from the great comedian Tim Robinson in the comedy Detroiters, where him and his partner Sam are trying to come up with taglines for, I believe it was Husky Boys. Am I correct, Nick?
Yes, you are, good sir. I don't know about famous line. Maybe just
Between us, it's famous.
Yeah, deeply in the obsessive quoting of lines from Detroiters between the two of us. It's quite famous, but maybe not to a unsuspecting public.
They'll learn it. They'll learn it by the time we're out. So Tim comes up and, they're trying to figure out lines. They can't figure them out. And Tim says, "We don't have it yet." And, that's kind of our philosophy on just about everything. We aren't experts in anything. We are just a couple of guys who became friends a few years ago and have found that we share a lot of interests and
a magically similar brain and background somehow. And, yeah, here we are as super best friends via the internet, which is weird to me, and thought we should put something together. At least it's cheaper than therapy. We both agreed that was a good part of the show, right?
The only thing is this doesn't go towards my deductible.
Yeah, that's a bitch of it these days. Damn. So, I guess the idea being that we're of a similar age and had similar background, 80s, 90s, weird amalgamation childhoods, and thus we share the same love for similar movies, TV shows, games, music, etc., but can also, we found, have wildly different opinions on some of those things, and figured as long as we're discussing them anyway, we might as well infect the world with our worthless thoughts as well, huh?
Who doesn't want to listen to two more middle-aged men just talking to each other?
Oh yeah, I mean, come on. It's just, there's a total,
There's a dearth of that.
That's the word. I was like, a dearth of content in that. What do middle-aged white dudes have to say about things in pop culture? I think, what can you do?
So, what have you been up to? We've talked a little bit, about, running the podcast, but we haven't had a chance to talk too much about, what's been going on since we last
since we last recorded. I guess we should mention that if you're listening to this is technically the first episode, but there will be a something of a bonus test episode that we'll release behind it. And I guess we haven't really caught up since then, which was over a week ago. I know we were going to both play pinball. You played pinball, right?
Yes. I don't know if I would say what I did was playing it, but I had a pinball league night.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so did I. Yeah. So I'm here in the Chicagoland area, if anybody, or for all of you that don't know that. And once a month I play in a couple different leagues. So once or twice a month, I should say, depending on the location. And I had one last Tuesday, and much like Wyatt, I'm not sure that you could call what I did playing pinball, but it's still a lot of fun and a good reason to get out and do something. But it was one of those nights, man, I could not buy a shot to save my life. I could play a great game in between rounds, but then, when it's time to get called up, it was choke city pretty much. And even when I got a great ball, it was like, oh, here comes the guy behind me to remind me that I shouldn't be proud of myself because he's just going to squash me into oblivion.
What did you pull for games, if you remember?
Yeah, it was rough on that front. So it was, what did I opened with Wonka, which I'm so at. Then went to Labyrinth, which, if you've ever played in a tournament setting, is pretty unforgiving without any sort of ball save or anything. So you can hit that lower return ramp, and if that ball kicks out and goes out, tough. But I suppose that's part of it too. God, you're gonna put me to it. On what else I played? Oh, I played old Metallica. Um, so
Not
not
the remastered.
not the recent remaster, yeah, but the original Stern one. So same game, but it's so weird going back to it, having kind of gotten used to the new one and the feel of that, and just those tiny little differences. Well, did enough to throw me off and make me play like complete garbage because I'm sitting there trying to, hit the guy in the electric chair and just work that, and I just chunked it straight down the middle as it goes. And then I did also have an X-Men game, which went pretty well until two of the people I'm playing with destroyed everything, which unfortunately, happens. You can have a great game for you, and there's just somebody that's at another level.
Do you remember about what you scored on that? Because I played X-Men for my tournament, my league night last week too.
I'd have to look, man. I'm sure I logged in, but I mean, nothing to write home about, I'm sure. What I mean, tell me what was even I'm trying to think of what the ballpark probably is on that game. Like 120 is probably a decent tournament.
Say
round,
my
right?
high score is 117 million,
Yeah.
which I know isn't great, but I think it's according to
No,
Stern,
I mean, I'm
it's
not
like
saying I
top
was getting in
50%.
there, but yeah, I'm thinking like, what does the the Stern TV board look like in the places that I go for that game? You have to keep in mind also during these tournaments that I'm not playing in a totally present state of mind. There's a fun way to find community of pot smokers in your area is go to a pinball tournament, because all you got to do is step to the side of the front door and there's a fun little circle of people also going into pinball. So getting into specifics, a week ago now, you're asking a bit much of me because I can't remember what the fourth game I played was either. But how did yours go? When was yours? Yours was fresher. Friday you played?
This past Friday I skipped because I went camping,
okay.
but the Friday before I had my league
Right.
night,
You were
which is
before
actually
me then.
before
I'm
the last
sorry.
time we met.
Yeah.
No, that's all right. I thought it was going pretty well. I pulled a bunch of games that I do not enjoy. I believe I played Metallica, which I like, but Metallica remastered. Pulled X-Men, which I absolutely hate.
I like X-Men, just so everybody knows.
I don't know. I can't get into it. I
Fair
pulled
enough.
Bob Orr's Power Play, which is a 70s electromechanical game, or solid state electromechanical game, and I pulled Jaws, which was the first pinball game that I played when I got back into playing pinball, but I'm not good at it by any means. And I think I pulled 2/4 and 2/3, so it wasn't exactly the best night of pinball that I've ever had, but it was fun.
That's exactly what I did. I was 2/3 and 2/4, but one of those thirds was a group of 3. So I actually did worse than you, because it was obviously an odd number of people for the week, kind of thing.
One of them, I believe, I missed second. I think that was Metallica. I missed second place by like one pop bumper, and it was fine. I don't think either of us claim to be the world's greatest pinball players or anywhere near it, but it's fun. Like you said, it's a real good place to find community. A bunch of people that enjoy just
hanging out. It's
shooting that silver ball.
It's a good hang. Yeah, it's a good hang. It's fun, and I'm so glad that you've gotten into it as much as you have, more so than I have ever been. But people don't know you have a club nearby, so you have unlimited play, so to speak, with a membership. That's a pretty cool perk.
Yeah,
without getting into the unbelievable finances of trying to own one yourself.
Yeah, I don't think I want to own my own, knowing the amount of work that goes into them. But yes, I have access to a pinball club up here. I'm in New Hampshire for all the new wonderful listeners. I'm in the Concord, the capital region, and we have
In the
a
shadow
pinball
of Fun
club.
Spot.
Yes, in the shadow of Fun Spot. Fun
Yes.
Spot, the largest classic arcade in the world, which I'm not sure if that's still factually accurate or not, but it was at one point.
I just know it from King of Kong mostly, I think.
That's what most people know it from.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm a member of the Capital Pinball Club over in Concord. It's a lot of fun. Like Nick said, yeah, it's unlimited free play. I pay a monthly fee, and it's really kind of cool to be able to try all these different games. I know I'm always telling Nick, "Oh, hey, we got this new game," and he's like, "That's a really expensive one." How the hell are you guys getting all this stuff? But
Yeah, whoever your benefactors are awesome, man. I'll tell you that much. And the fact that you can go like during off hours, I'd love nothing more than to like sneak in for an hour in the early morning when nobody else is there and have like a new machine to myself. That is just the coolest thing and the best way you could possibly, get in practice for stuff like a tournament.
yeah, I was it either yesterday or the night before. I went in later evening because I was kind of bored and there was no one there. And I got to sit down and play my favorite pinball game, which is Deadpool. And I sat on it for 45 minutes, just being able to churn out games. And
Yeah, love me some Deadpool. That game I think
it's
is
so fun.
pretty
It's just
awesome.
so fun. It's a fun hobby, and I'm happy that both you and our friend Joe from Rad Junk got me into this
Well,
habit.
let's be fair. Shack Attack got you into this.
Well, Shack Attack is the
Shaquille
greatest pinball
O'Neal
game.
really brought you into the fold more than anything. He played one game of '90s Shack Attack, and I think this is for me.
It
The
awakened
lights
something
went
in me.
off. Yeah, the lights went off. And, I mean, who could blame you?
Yeah,
Did you? All right, so you didn't play pinball this past weekend. Oh, you were going camping. I knew that.
Yeah, took my wonderful, I guess for all new listeners, I last year bought myself a 1985 Volkswagen Westphalia Vanagon, which is a looks like a big brick with a sail on top. It's a camper van that has something I've wanted since I was a kid and got a really good deal on one last year. I've been putting a lot of work into it, and finally a couple weeks ago I was able to take it on a trip up towards Mount Washington and went camping there, and then decided this past weekend that my cousins and I were going to take another trip out to Western New Hampshire, go hike Mount Monadnock and see how things would go. And it was a blast.
Is there like, prior to these last two trips, some worry that the old gal was going to be able to make it, kind of thing?
There is the fun thing about owning a Vanagon is, and
Expect the unexpected.
Yes, I talked with a few other owners. I actually went to a car show about a month ago where there's a bunch of Vanagon owners there, and it was pretty much consensus among everyone that every time you go to start the van, you're basically saying a prayer to whatever entity you believe in that you're actually going to make it. And anytime you make it to where you're trying to go, you are the happiest you've ever been. It's a very wild experience. I've never felt that driving a vehicle. I've always felt pretty comfortable that I was going to make it from point A to point B.
Kind of cars that you develop a personal relationship with because they have a real personality. The fact that you have to hang a rabbit's foot from the rearview mirror and rub it to hopefully make it start, you miss those old scenes in movies where the killer's running at the window and the car doesn't start. Where does that exist with a push button electric? You're not going to find it. But for the record, I am pro electric car, everybody. But it's you want a little of that tension. And it's like
it is. It's a lot of fun. My van is named G Van Choi after the Tampa Bay Rays legend G Man Choi. Legend.
Love it.
To me,
I apologize.
I
misgendered your van there.
No,
I said
that is okay. That is okay. they will answer to whatever. But yeah, so it's funny you say, did you have any worries before, these last couple trips?
Well, I think you said you were driving like 4 or 5 hours, right?
The trip we did a couple weeks ago was about 3.5, 4 hours. Yeah, we stopped for about an hour or so because I hadn't driven the van more than probably 60 miles in a single go, and I didn't want to
check the road, make sure there's not a trail of oil leaking behind you, kind of thing.
So funny enough, we went on a trip. We hiked Mount Monadnock Saturday morning, which is fun fact for you. I bet you didn't know this.
I
Mount
can guarantee
Monadnock.
you I don't.
Mount Monadnock is the second most hiked mountain in the world
All right.
in Keene, New Hampshire.
This is a really shitty PR team.
Yeah, right.
I've never heard of it.
So we did that. It was a lot of fun. We had obviously you got to have pizza. We grabbed some pizza on the way out the night before because who doesn't love pizza?
Yeah.
Then you did the hike. We were dead. It was about a 10 miles round trip. Uh, and I haven't hiked a mountain. Oh God, maybe close to a decade. So
Is
I'm
this
not
like pretty up there elevations kind of thing?
not really. And I'm sure anyone listening to this that lives in an area with a quote unquote real mountain will say that, I just climbed up a hill and, what am I complaining about? But
Nah.
it was about, I think about 2,500 feet of elevation gain, a little bit of
Yeah.
rock scrambling towards the top, which is the fun stuff. But it was we got up there. It was a beautiful day. There was not a cloud in the sky. I think I might have sent you guys a picture of
You
that
did.
when I got up
I
there.
saw, yeah, your top view. It was
Yeah, it was pretty
pretty
fun.
awesome. Yeah, and if you're describing it as, you were cooked by the top of it, I probably would have collapsed and rolled halfway up. Uh,
Well, we decided to go up one of the harder trails. There's a couple trails that are basically you just walk from the bottom to the top,
oh
but
yeah, you can pick the green circle, the
yes,
blue square, the black diamond, so to speak, kind of thing.
pretty
Yeah,
much. Yeah,
yeah.
so we did that, and we came home early Sunday morning. Everything went great. Van was perfect. Got it back into my driveway. We started unloading it, and I found a big puddle of coolant laying under the van. So
Ruh-roh.
yeah, so thankfully I did some quick diagnostic work, which was opening the trunk lid and going, what the hell is going on? And found out that one of my belts rubbed a hole through one of the coolant lines. I'm guessing because it looks like the motor mounts are shot. So, in the true spirit of being a Vanagon owner, I am going to have to put my mechanic hat back on and get some more
Bit gum
work
and
done on it.
duct tape.
Yeah, we're gonna try and do it a little bit better than that, but yeah, I wouldn't call myself anything more than a shade tree mechanic, so we're gonna do what we can do.
Did you got pizza before camping? Did you eat like you're gonna do s'mores, knowing that you're the dessert guy? But did you cook anything over the fire or anything like that? Hunt and fish
Uh,
your own dinner that night?
we yes, I went and caught some wild Nathan's hot dogs,
Oh,
and
they're the finest kind.
I love them.
The New Hampshire hot dogs of the woods. Yeah.
So I caught some of those, cooked those over our grill on our campfire, which was there's just something different about eating some hot dogs that are roasted over a fire.
Yeah, they're generally a little, more blackened than you might normally
Yeah,
cook them or anything. That added char and little bit of cancer is extra deliciousness
the
and personality, I would say too.
the cancer adds to it.
But yeah,
Gives you the
not just
experience. Yeah,
not just the nitrates. Let's get
give it
something in
all.
there from the fire. Yeah. No, I
So yeah,
totally agree
I
with
did
you.
make some s'mores. I did make some s'mores, which were great. Real fun trick. Which I tell a lot of people this. It's not really a trick. I'm going to be one of those people that are like, check out this cool s'mores hack. But it's a lot of fun. Some people don't realize you can use more than just regular chocolate on your s'mores. If you want to use an almond joy or a Reese's peanut butter
Oof,
cup or any kind.
getting a little
Yeah,
wild out there. Oh, oh,
we
shaking
were
things up.
getting pretty crazy. It was hopping at campsite A0.
So I don't really love marshmallow. Let me rephrase that. I think marshmallow is kind of gross. What could I bring a spatula or some sort of grate and hold like a bunch of soft batch cookies over the fire and try to like warm them up so they become chewy deliciousness? No, that's not going to work, is it?
Well, why don't you can take some cookies, wrap them in some aluminum foil, and hold them over a fire.
Well, yeah, but then we miss out on all the added smoke that we just previously discussed.
You poke a hole in the top, you poke a hole in the bottom.
Oh yeah, I got it. Oh god,
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I got to test out
on the first episode.
I got to test out my solar battery that it's a battery pack that I can charge off solar. I've got some portable solar panels
The one I
that
bought. No, you bought a nicer panel than what I bought.
actually I
You got
don't
that
know. We might
220 foldable
yes.
suitcase, right? Okay, yeah. So yours is the bigger one. I got
Yes.
the
So
110.
I got that and I've used the portable battery to run a chest fridge slash freezer that I got, which was yeah, oh, you're not really camping. I don't care. I'm doing as much camping as I can. It's fun to be able to
Nuts to
not just
that.
have an ice chest.
Yeah.
You know, people are
What are
weird,
you
man.
saying? If like you had the vacuum sealed $500, $1,000 stupid brand name cooler, that's somehow more honest than plugging a cooler in to a
Oh, it
generator?
is. It is,
I mean,
especially, if you're charging it with solar power,
oh,
that
that's all
doesn't.
right. Man,
But yeah,
I don't know if you've used it for a bunch of stuff. Having one of those just little solar powered power stations, like I got one, as you know, a couple weeks ago, and like I've been consistently blown away by how efficient they are now, and like how fast they charge and how much you can use them. Honestly,
yeah, I was actually going to ask you. I know you had mentioned, and here's a little insider secret that I'm going to tell everyone that this is what we call a segue. I knew that you were talking about the solar stuff that you've been going into. I was kind of curious to see. You said you've been doing some research and stuff on it. I want to know how that's been going.
well, yeah, researching so much is like if I'm gonna do it, I better get off my ass before the end of the year. And it's just, yeah, I'm to give everybody a little backstory. I'm a child of Baltimore. Spent the first 36 years of my life there before moving for work out to the West Coast in San Diego for 3 years before my wife accepted a new job here in the Chicagoland area. So I'm a bit all over the place. And so after living in this is our fifth place that we've resided in 5 years, I think.
Damn.
Um, and this house that we're in now was a like total rehab job. It was a deal foreclosure that we kind of snuck out from under the bank and spent a long time kind of rehabbing. But it's mine. Well, it's the bank's, but sort of mine. And yeah, I've just been toying with the idea of breaking away from dependence on ever increasing electrical prices because we have ComEd in this area, and everybody's going to surge pricing as a model kind of thing. So you got your max charge rate from 4 p.m. to midnight or whatever it is, 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. in your area. And I'm just like, there has to be a better way. If these techs are really coming along, I wonder if solar is really viable. But I didn't want to just jump into, well, this report says I should be good, so let me spend 30 grand from a private contractor to come install a system or something insane like that. And if you've been trolling slick deals like I do as part of your daily web browsing habits, you would see that there's just an absolute ton of portable solar generators, portable battery storage stuff just flooding the market on sale right now. I would assume because of the end of the energy credits coming sooner than expected, and a lot of these guys have sold them to each other. So yeah, picked one up. Making a long story short, picked up a small system that was about $220 on sale. It was a 110 volt foldable suitcase panel and a 512 kilowatt hour. I might be getting that number wrong. I'm still learning all the measurements and technologies and everything involved. But battery bank, and yeah, let me see how it does. When the sun is hitting the east side of my house in the morning and this side on the west in the afternoon. And the app is so great that it tells you, okay, you can try and do this and you might get a little better the next day, as you daily reports of your energy generation and things like that. And yeah, basically I've been blown away by not only will it work, it seemingly will work a lot better than I might have expected. So now is the question of, do I kind of dive in? And again, more backstory on me. I'm kind of I want to do it, but how simply and cheaply could I possibly do it myself kind of guy. Whether that makes me just your run-of-the-mill cheap bastard or a DIY enthusiast is probably dependent on your viewpoint. But yeah, I mean, I saw there's also this EcoFlow system at Costco right now that's I think they call it the Ultra series, where it's a stackable battery bank and a built-in inverter and a new smart panel that replaces your electrical panel in your house, for like a lot cheaper than I might have expected. And basically, after going over numbers and everything, the rough and tumble estimate would be like I could put this in my house for a third of an installed net metering system. Basically, net metering being if any excess energy you generate from solar goes back to the grid and your electrical supplier pays you for the energy you've provided. But as these surge prices are going in more and more, like places like California now, you don't get paid at the same rates that they're able to sell the electricity to other people. So you get kind of hosed and lose out on all that extra energy you're generating. What's the point? And that's where these battery systems come in. So while I won't be off grid, so to speak, you will have a large battery storage option in the case of a blackout. And I think they advertise a 20 millisecond switchover in the panel that's automatic when it detects an outage from the grid. But it can also feed your circuits from the batteries on demand. So I could set it up to say, hey, you're going to generate all this solar energy while the sun is shining. Store that here, and then during peak hours where they're charging me some obscene electrical rate, I have this stored power in my garage able to use, and it's free. And it seems like that's where the entire industry is moving as I've researched more. And I don't know if it seems like this system's been around for about a year now. I'm obviously way behind and just kind of diving into the deep end of the pool. But I'm obviously don't have a lot of time left to move on the whole thing. If we're, ending the 30% tax credit at the end of the year. And the sale at Costco, which is actually like the cheapest I think it's been, ends on the 24th of this month. So
You've got decisions
shit or
to
get
make.
off the pot time, yeah. And get alone time too. So yeah, because if I'm buying something from Costco, it's not like they offer me financing kind of thing, unless I want to pay like what is it, 28% to a firm to do 4 payments on my hot dog purchase or whatever.
4
so
equal
yeah,
payments on a $1.50 hot dog.
yeah, I got to talk to the old credit union to see if they'll get on board with the whole project, or look into solar financing banks, which there apparently are a couple of that aren't just, selling you their systems with massively inflated dealer prices. So I hope you wanted to know about my whole background in solar adventuring because, well, I guess that gives you some background on me and what I'm up to at the moment, doesn't it?
I think it's a pretty good insight into who Nick is.
Yeah, cheap bastard, wants to do stuff by himself, won't be told it should cost more, and yeah, that pretty much wraps it up, I think.
What have you
I don't
been
know,
using the small battery bank for that you have?
Oh yeah, I mean that's worth mentioning too. Is I wanted to see if it was viable, one, but also we just have a ton of shit that gets recharged all the time. Like it seemed like there's always 1 or 2 devices plugged into the little USB charging hub, next to the kitchen counter that we sit in the middle of everything. And if it's not someone's phone, it's my son's tablet or an infinity number of gaming handhelds that I've ended up with through various ventures in my background. It's yard tools. My blower is electric. My string trimmer is electric. My mower is electric. And yeah, it's stood up. The only thing that's like really zapped the battery capacity on that bank is the mower battery because it's damn near the same size. So as long as I'm charging it while the sun is shining and the battery's still taking in more than it's putting out to the lawnmower battery, everything's been even. And that's kind of where I've been the most blown away is like how much excess energy I'm getting off of that one small panel compared to what it's dishing out to everything else. So rather than having an empty tank at the end of the day, using it to charge everything in the house that may need it, I'm actually at a point where first thing in the morning, it hooks back up to the solar panel. And by midday, it's already back, juiced, ready to go. And
That's very sweet.
It's amazing, man. Like the technology has come so far, I think just in the past 5 years. So I think there are a lot of people who got it done probably in entirely good faith, 10 years ago that have systems that are pretty much a pain in the ass at this point, and a lot of the contractors that installed them have gone under since that point, so they have no one else to come service these things without spending another huge chunk of money.
Yep.
Which is really why I didn't want to get locked into that whole ecosystem, because if you just go out and try and read, it's just full of horror stories. But the company promised me this, and the payments will get lower, and this had to work out, and they'll do this, this, and this, and it's like, well, all of those things have changed, and they've since gone under. So now you're just left holding the note and no one to service your system. So I at least want to be in a place where it's like, okay, I know that battery just went under, and I know how to replace it because it's just part of this simple system that I installed. And plus I get to learn stuff too. I'd like to think we're on the same page about that. I describe myself as not ridiculously, that makes me sound like an asshole. I don't know. Eternally curious. A tinkerer. I was a kid that liked to take shit apart when I was young and not necessarily put it back together.
Yeah, I think we share that. You're definitely a few steps ahead of me when it comes to tinkering stuff. But I also myself, it's fun to learn how things work or be able to create something for yourself just to say, look at this thing that's working because, I put it together.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a level of FU-ness to it too. I mean, it's why, oh, you're going to try and sell me that for some hugely inflated price, nuts to that. I could figure out a way to do that. Or I'm going to keep paying, this subscription when I have a whole CD collection I can rip to MP3s and self-host from my server, and I can listen to them from anywhere, kind of thing. Like
that's been my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, there's like a there's a shaking your fist at the man to it kind of thing. Like, no, I'm not just going to continue paying you a subscription every month till the end of time for the ability to listen to music. Like I'll host it myself and be able to stream music from my collection. That's the DIY incentive, I guess. If there's like an angst to it almost in a lot of ways.
We want more control over the things that we spend our money on.
And I think that touches on a really good, not to get too deep here, but a really good kind of like what we are in this show, kind of where our viewpoints come from, in that we are of the, I suppose you're an elder millennial and I'm a quote zennial or what have you. I'm a child of 83, but grew up in a time where, enshittification wasn't quite so prominent and we remember things that, were good. And we're fortunate enough to grow up with learning technology in a way that, we can possibly say no. But a lot of my comments are mostly just like, yeah, I remember when that wasn't bullshit.
I remember when I bought a DVD and I actually had a DVD.
Hey, man, I tell you what, talk about things coming full circle. I mean, if I wasn't upset at the state of streaming, I wouldn't currently have an awesome Blu-ray collection that led me to volunteering for a couple local libraries in my community. So, like, I get something out of it when they have sales. I get $2 or $3 movies that are mostly new releases a lot of times, or a lot of cool, clean releases. And, I volunteer and help them out with the sales and the Friends of the Library stuff. And it's mutually beneficial. And now I own these movies. So I don't have to worry about it, whether it's on Netflix or Amazon Prime or any of that crap. Nuts to them. Now I have 500 of these things up here. Like,
yeah, amen. That's the same way I sit. I've always been a huge proponent of physical media, whether it be movies, music, video games, and the downside is needing the space to store all of that stuff. But knowing that I have access to the stuff I bought instead of having a service decide that even if I bought a digital copy, they can pull it offline for XYZ reason. And now I don't get my money back, but I also no longer have access to this thing that I have no ownership over.
Yeah, the license got moved. Sorry, that company got sold. So your agreement with them is no longer valid, and we've nulled that. So say goodbye to all your stuff. Like, that sucks. And I think that's where a lot of people younger than us are starting to very much be on the same wavelength, and they long to gravitate back towards physical media in some ways. I'm not saying it's the standard because it's not, but you see an increase. Like to see an entire section in Walmart devoted to vinyl now
Yeah,
in
that's
2025
wild.
is wild. It's cool. It's neat. You know, as Best Buy phased out all physical media, they're bringing CDs and vinyl back in. So there's demand. You see it. They're selling record players, portable cassette players, portable CD players. Like there is I don't think it's just, you know, longing for a nostalgia or an era that they weren't a part of. I think that it's, no, I want control over these things that I decide are mine, or this art that I enjoy, or God forbid, something tangible that you can hold in your hand and say, I like this music. I want to look at this thing that represents these artists. And, you know, I miss flipping through liner notes sometimes.
I was just gonna say my old man shaking at the cloud moment here is I miss instruction manuals, physical instruction manuals in
Oh,
video
yeah.
games.
Hell yeah.
Like that, I have the fondest memories of going to Funko Land and buying a game and being driven back home,
Oh, you get
opening
to
up the game
flip through
and
that
flip through it.
manual
Yeah.
on the way back home and anticipate all that cool stuff that you were about to experience, or you poured over it on the bus to school because you were away from the game, but maybe you could learn something more in this time that you're away from it. Kind of, yeah, I love that stuff.
It's yeah, it was that stuff was just so great. And while I appreciate, and it's very nice to have the entire world at our fingertips online, um, just either having instruction manuals and learning things from that, or another thing. I know we're going on a different topic, and who cares? Because this is our show.
Yeah.
Video game magazines. I know. I believe Game Informer finally came back, and actually has a physical magazine again. I miss Nintendo Power, Game Informer, EGM, just being
It's
able to see those previews.
But I mean, as we've kind of come through that era and gone through the whole digital transformation of everything, now on the other side, don't you long to like get that excitement when you received that new issue in the mail? Like,
Oh,
oh, that's
absolutely.
a little, yeah, that's a neat thing. I just got, got the new thing. Like, I think that you'll see a shift back towards that. It's not going to be everything, but I think that there will be enough to make it sustainable in niche hobbies in areas like gaming.
I do see. Of course, if I did any research on any topics before we talked about things, I'd have some examples off the top of
Man,
my
this is
head.
a podcast. Come on.
But I do know that there are some like fully self-sufficient, I guess, more or less zines at this point that have
Yeah.
been being put out that are, it's just so cool being able to see this stuff. Just having these, I just long for physical things to look through. Looking through something on my tablet or on my computer screen just does not scratch the same itch.
Yeah, I mean, I know people that swear that they have no interest in books. They read a ton, but I have a Kindle, and I got free e-library books from my local library, and it's great. I
Yep.
can check them out and read them on my Kindle. I I want that thing in my hand. Like,
It's that
I don't have to.
tactile feel.
It is. There's something to it. And again, I don't go out and spend $30 every time I want to read something. I either borrow it from the library or it catches my eye for $1 at the the autumn sale kind of thing. Which is how I ended up with Bruce Campbell's second book that I'm really excited to read.
Which one is that?
Something
Do you
about
remember?
make love like me or something great
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
I think the first one.
I think it even says on the cover, like, from the author of World's Greatest Chin or
Yes,
something
I've
to that
read that
effect
one.
was his
Yes.
first book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, can't argue with that man's jawline, can you? It's like talking about games and instruction books and tangible. I appreciated it. What was that? We both played it. What was the Zelda knockoff
Tunic.
with the fox? Right? Yeah,
Tunic.
Tunic. Yeah. So that really kind of bridged the gap in a very tip of the cap kind of way. In that you didn't have a map in that game. You actually, as you progressed, unlocked pages in an instruction manual
Yes,
as if it were modeled directly after an NES instruction manual. And the coolest part to me was that if you zoomed in on that image, they even recreated the color printing style that was used in those manuals at the time. So that, I mean, that attention to detail, like I did that, and it's just got those flutters all over those little
I could
big.
go on for hours about Tunic. That game is so cool. And as you said, just those little touches of collecting pages of the instruction manual in the game to learn more about the story just took me back to being 3 or 4 years old playing The Legend of Zelda and having the instruction manual and trying to learn. And
Yep.
at that age, I could read basic stuff, but I couldn't read very well. And
Yeah.
the game even takes that into account because the instruction manual is written in a fake language that you don't know. So you have to figure out context.
Yeah, I forgot.
clues.
Oh God, I forgot.
Yeah.
Tunic. Yeah, you're talking about. Yeah, there is no all the text is like looks like
It's in a made up
runes
language.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
Which
there's no way to
actually
read it.
is translated. So, I mean, there are people that went, so it's a real language that people have gone and translated. So if you really, wanted to know something, you could go and find what the book
Oh,
actually
so it actually
says.
says make a right at the bush and go up 2 screens kind of thing, and you'll find it something like that. That's amazing. I love that
And
kind
then
of attention to detail.
I don't know if I don't know if we talked about this when you were playing it, because I believe you played it a couple of years after I did. But
I'm
when
sure.
you pause the game to bring up the instruction manual, you can use your right stick to move the instruction manual around the screen. And if you pull it down away from the screen, you could actually see in the background the screen that you're actually in the game, and it's animated like an NES game. So
No, I did not see that.
you need to fire it
Oh
up just
God,
to
now I
do
got to
that.
download it. Yeah.
So it literally puts you in the mind frame once you do that you are a kid that is playing a video game, and you're pulling yourself out of that world when you pause it to look at the instruction manual.
Oh my God, they broke
There's
the
just
fourth
so
wall.
many layers. Like,
Yeah.
I could do hours upon hours of how much I love that game.
It was, I mean, tough as nails too, though.
Yes.
By my recollection, it was like Zelda 1 meets Dark Souls.
It basically has been described as a Dark Souls Zelda game. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's definitely not as brutal as Dark Souls, but yes, it is a
I would say
super
Zelda
hard
1.
Zelda game.
I guess it feels like Link to the Past, doesn't it?
It's modeled more after Link to the Past, I believe. But
Or
yeah,
maybe they're like the remake of Link's Awakening or something like that.
I could see that too. It's played in a 3D isometric view.
But that's also kind of top down. No, you're right. It is. I
Yes.
guess it is isometric.
Yeah, you have like the 3/4 isometric view of everything you do. But
Yeah, that's right. Maybe
actually,
I do have to play that one again. Was there a new game
speaking,
plus so it doesn't have to be like quite so frustrating the second time?
I believe there is a new game plus. Don't quote me on that. And there also is, if you really just wanted to go back and experience the game. I don't know if this was in the game when it came out or if they added it later, but there is a difficulty modifier.
Oh, there
So
was. You could actually slide it down like mid game. So if you were stuck on a boss, you could. Yeah, I like it when games do that, man. Because I'm not out to prove anything to anybody at this point. Like if I'm gonna challenge myself, that's fine. But if I'm ready to throw the controller through the screen and realize that I'm not having fun with this, supposed to be leisure activity in my free time, like that's awesome that they're gonna let me just tone it down and breeze through this one guy kind of thing.
I agree and disagree with you. I agree in the sense that I think everybody should have the ability, like, games should be accessible to everyone. I don't fall on the side of the argument that, there needs to be hard games and, just get good. Like, you shouldn't be able to play it. But like,
well, I don't agree with
seek
the
a
bullshit
challenge
that's like,
personally.
oh, if you, I like a challenge too, but if you want to listen to some internet nonsense, it's like, well, unless you played it on Nightmare, you didn't really play it, bro.
No,
Like, I'm not
I
trying
play
to
the game.
say it.
It doesn't matter. Like, I don't care if
believe,
someone plays it on story mode.
yeah, and I'm huge on the thought that there should be like a little buddy mode where like a young child can play a game with you where they don't really have any impact on it, but they are controlling something on the screen. I think that should be in more games. And
Nintendo does that very well.
Nintendo does do that, and I think there needs to be dad mode, where because I actually have a life outside of my ability to concentrate on this game, when I step away from it for 3 weeks and then come back and sit down all excited to play and realize that I've forgotten how to do anything in this game or how it even works. Yeah, I need dad mode to pop up. And it goes, oh, you need dad mode. And it goes, yeah, here's your little 5-second tutorial so you remember how to like use basic controls and how this part worked. And you're supposed to be doing this in this mission right now. Yeah, more
Final
of that.
Fantasy 16, actually. It doesn't have like an explicit dad mode like you want,
Yeah.
but I don't know if you've played Final Fantasy 16. But
I didn't even know we got that far yet.
yes, I believe 16 is the newest one aside. I think that came out before Rebirth. Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth did. But
Oh, wait, 15 was the one where they were all driving around in a car and stuff, right? They had
yes.
the real. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, 16 was like a return to like medieval fantasy type
Yes.
stuff. Okay, yeah, I do remember it now.
It's
Yeah.
still more of the active time battle system like the newer Final Fantasy 7s and kind of like Final Fantasy 15, but it does go more into like the medieval style, but they have something, I think it's called active time lore. So at any point, something's happening in the game. If you're like, who the hell is this person?
Yeah.
You could actually press a button and it'll bring back like, oh, this person's this, and they, relate to this person by this or that.
Yeah, there is
So
definitely more of that now.
I appreciate that because
Yeah.
I can go, what game was it that I played? I think it was, I can't remember off the top of my head, but there was a game that I went away from for 6 to 8 months, and I was 3/4 of the way through the game. I came back and I was like, I don't remember how to play, but two, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah. Why do I care about these people? I cannot remember anything. But
Who is this
100% agree
Diddy
with
Kong
that.
character following me around?
Who is this Princess Peach, and why do I need to save her?
Yeah, exactly. And I totally lost track of wherever we were going with this or how we even got here, but I'm glad we have because fun.
The tangents are the fun spots. That's where you find all the fun.
Yeah, it's just so everyone knows, it's going to be largely Wyatt's responsibility to veer us back on course, and anytime I just take things hard off into the dirt.
Oh, so Nick, we were talking about Super Mario, I just mentioned, and having to save Princess Peach. And I know that Princess Peach is usually attacked by, I believe his name is Bowser, who is kind of, he's the king of the Koopas. He's a Koopa, but he's kind of dragon-like. And I think you had mentioned something about watching Dungeons and Dragons.
Hey,
look at
this! Yes, look at that. You people out there are never even going to notice that was a transition. That's just how good of a broadcast professional he is. You see how he just volleyed that back to me with a whole new topic? So D&D. Do you play? Didn't you just start playing?
Yeah, I did. Actually, I kind of, I'll talk about that a little bit. I want to hear your review of the movie. I want to see how it kind of...
I have no background with Dungeons and Dragons. I don't have any problem with it. It's just tabletop has never been like a world that I really jumped into. So I'm just kind of on the outside and always thought, I have enough nerdly concerns to occupy my time. But everybody had told me, like, you have to watch the new Dungeons and Dragons movie, even if you're not into the games, or not in a what do you call it, a guild, a tribe, a party,
campaign, party.
What have you? It's worth watching, and you especially, Nick. You like Labyrinth and high fantasy and all that good stuff. You would love this movie. And I kind of, I dragged my feet on it, and however long ago it came out now, it was a couple of years old. I don't know. But it was my pick. My wife and I alternate movie picks. And I was like, all right, let's check this one off the list. Man, it was freaking great. You haven't seen it, I think you said.
I haven't seen it yet.
It is so worth a watch. And to anyone that felt like, Dungeons and Dragons, that's not really for me, I don't know about that whole world, fear not. It is just fun, high fantasy, and if you like that sort of thing, you're in for a good time, I think. But the tone in it was really perfect. It kind of perfectly dances between fanciful fantasy with dark parts, but there's great jokes throughout of it, and it was like the pacing was really good. You're excited and interested in what's going on all the time. Hugh Grant, again, love seeing him play different parts, especially not to spoil anything, but any roles where he gets to play against type in more recent years seem to be where he's having a ton of fun. He was awesome in this. Chris Pine, who I said to my wife, like, I can't remember why he's famous. Maybe you can help me out there.
Star Trek. He was in the new Star Trek movies.
Oh, he was the new Kirk.
Yes.
Yeah, so I haven't watched those either. And movies I bought on physical media with the intention of watching, and I will get there, but haven't gotten there yet, which is exactly what Dungeons and Dragons was. He was fantastic in it. Michelle Rodriguez pretty much plays Michelle Rodriguez, as we know her from Fast and Furious and many late '90s and early 2000s great movies. But it's a perfect role for her, and you are totally with her. The eldest Smith kid, the most likable of the bunch, but what is the guy from Pokemon?
Yep.
He's in it. He was great. It was lighthearted, fun, like good time at the movies, popcorn fare, great laughs, good jokes, solid writing. Like I would say, don't be like me and shrug it off. Like if you haven't seen it, you will have a good time. My wife loved it, and well, she's a huge nerd for all fantasy stuff too, so it was an easy sell. But I genuinely think like my 80-year-old parents could watch it and have a good time.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to probably, I guess, bump that up my list to check it out. There's absolutely no reason why I wouldn't enjoy it, so there's no reason why I haven't seen it. Just
I think it did
I
well
have
critically too. I think it was like a high 80s or something on the old RT meter.
It looks like 91% on Rotten
91.
Tomatoes.
There you go. And I would be hard pressed to imagine the audience score would be much lower than that.
Oh, and I didn't realize that John Francis Daly was the director, known as Sam Weir from Freaks and Geeks, and
Oh, that makes sense.
the kid from Waiting.
Wait, Mitch?
Yeah,
That's the director?
let me double check that. Yeah, John Francis Daly. Yeah, Mitch from Waiting.
Is that also the kid that licked the window in Super Troopers and was married
No,
to?
they look similar, but no.
Okay, that's the guy that's married to Cynthia Hendricks, or
Yes,
that
Christina Hendricks, I believe.
Hendricks from Mad Men. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so different guys, but similar looking guys. All right, that's interesting, man.
Yes, no, I definitely got to see it. It came out in March of 2023, so yeah, a little over 2 years old.
I'm not too bad behind then.
Yeah, you're within 3 years.
Everything now is like, well, have you seen this show? You have to watch it. Who has these endless hours to consume this much content? We're in the golden age of television. It seems to be turning into the fire hose age of schlock.
Very quickly.
Arrow, but games. Christ, if you're into indies, man,
It's not a better time.
Yeah, I can't get to all of it. I don't think it's possible to get to all of it. And how am I supposed to with Balatro in the way anyway?
I really, next time we have a podcast, I need you to come back and tell me how many hours you have clocked in that, because it has to be in the hundreds at this point.
Oh yeah, okay. So I can tell you off the top of my head. It's so I had 100. I started on Switch, and I had around 100 on that. And then a Steam sale came along, and I'm like, well, yeah, I should really own this on Steam. So then I started playing it on Steam, and then so I had about 120 on that. We'll call that my main campaign. Now, I've since also there is an Android release version on the Google Play Store and on the iPhone Store if you want it on your phone or any Android device, what have you. But you can actually take the Steam version. This is one of the reasons I bought it, and port it to anywhere else really easily. You can port it to Linux. You can port it to Android. Like I said, really simply, just with the game's tiny. It's like a couple megs in total, maybe, with those game files. And the great guys over at Portmaster got it over onto Linux, and it's almost like a native install on Android with an APK. So when you own it there, maybe there's some gray area in legality. I don't know, but I've done it. So I have it installed on every Linux handheld and Android handheld that is capable, pretty much.
And
I pick up the device, and I'm pretty much going to test Balatro on it in some manner. So that's where things get a little hazy.
So just so people know, I know you had touched on it, but Nick is very big into Android handhelds, Linux handhelds.
Emulation. Yeah.
Emulation in general. Yeah. You have 30, 40 handhelds at this point? More? 50? 70? 100?
No, I wouldn't have 100. Don't be ridiculous, Wyatt. Not 100. That would be obscene. Anyway, yeah, I like handhelds. Yeah, I recently wrote for Retro Handhelds publication stuff. They gave me the chance to talk about something I like and test out new devices. So very thankful for that. And yeah, it's probably good that de minimis is ending. Only in so much as like my AliExpress shopping will be significantly curbed. Um, so not only things are more expensive, but you can't get that under $800 de minimis exemption. So impulse purchases on handhelds will go down significantly. And I won't feel like I'm missing out quite as much, hopefully. But yeah, I've amassed a bit of a collection, and I'm at somewhat of a loss in what I'm going to do with all of them because at some point they just turn into shelf decorations, and keeping all these batteries cycled is no small feat either.
Sounds like you're gonna be the guy handing out handhelds at Halloween.
Well, you know what? People have done that. I think there was a guy in the Discord channel that bought like a few dozen or maybe even up to like 100 of one of the cheap off-brand but very capable devices. It might have been the R36S, and
Huh,
literally gave them out to kids at Halloween.
that's
And
pretty awesome.
I don't have that kind of money, but if I did have FU money, that would be the fun stuff that I would do. Like, yeah, here's a full-size Snickers bar and a 128 gig loaded emulation handheld. Like, that would be awesome.
But yeah, so
I need to
tra-
take them down to Florida with us in November because we're going to be heading down to
oh
really
yeah,
rad weekend. Yeah, maybe I'll have some there. I'll just set up like a little table by the pool with a couple dozen emulation machines and sell them on the low. I'm sure Joe and Sam would love that.
oh absolutely. I mean, Joe will probably be your biggest customer.
Right? Yeah, well, I'd say he's as sick as I am. So when I'm talking about the latest weird thing that arrived in the mail kind of thing, I know he's up on this stuff. He just might not give over that he knows as much as he does, but I know he's owned an Odin, which is one of my favorite devices. And when I mention new ones, he seems to be very, very aware. But of course, he's swimming in the same retro game pool as we are, isn't he?
That's basically how we all more or less became friends, I'd say, is just our shared love of pinball, retro gaming, food, and life in general, I suppose.
I mean, yeah. Similar interests, similar backgrounds in our generally generational interests. It's always fun to, you know, uh, poke fun at each other. It's like, oh man, we're the Snick era. You guys came up on that Fairly Odd Parents stuff, the small micro generational differences, but no, yeah, we're all into the same stuff. We're dorks.
I mean, really, we don't have it yet.
Dude. Not only are you a master of the transition, but the plug. He just worked the show name in, and I didn't even know it was coming. Look at that. I think are we coming up on time here? Where are we
I
at?
think, yeah, looks like we've got a solid hour of us just going back and forth.
Oh my goodness. So hopefully this has served as something of a wet of the beak, a sample, a taste.
Yeah, a nice
Uh,
little a free hit.
yeah, don't be under any impression that we have any idea what we're doing. I think Wyatt actually has a little bit of radio background, so he should
A
come
long,
across a lot
long
better.
time ago. At this point, I wouldn't even say I have it.
So we're gonna get better. We need reps. I think we're gonna keep coming as long as you people have us. We're just gonna keep posting it to the internet anyway, so it doesn't really
Even if you don't listen,
Yeah,
this
we'll,
is
we'll put it
this is
out
our
into the ether.
therapy.
Yeah, we'll put it into the ether. No one has to touch it. It's just good to talk to a bud every once in a while, right?
Absolutely. But we appreciate everyone listening to this first official episode of We Don't Know This. For the podcast, I
We
am
don't know
Wyatt.
this. We don't know this. Our show is called We Don't Know This.
Oh no, that was teeing you up to actually say it
Yes,
correctly.
we don't have it yet. Clearly, we don't have it yet. And yeah, if you want to hear more, we're gonna hopefully back post a little bonus episode. But otherwise, we should probably have something ready for next week to go. So till then, this is Nick.
This is Wyatt.
Laters.
Bye bye.